The reason you're not able to get stops right now in CFB 26 is simply because you don't know enough secret tricks that's going to make your life 10 times easier on defense. But don't worry, there's a way to set up your defense in under 2 seconds and a great way to stop corner outs. Just 2 of the 5 things I'll be showing you in this video. And the tips get better as we go along, so you're not going to miss out on any of them. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so like I just said, there's a great way to be able to stop corner outs very easily. Let me show you. Alright, and that way that I'm going to be showing you is from cover 2 and what we call the double Mabel coverage, right? So we're going to put our flats on 25, our curl flats on 5. We're going to come into Tampa 2, alright? And you can see for them, they have this play flood called, obviously it's a flood concept, okay? And here's the thing about this: when you put your flats on 25, you can see they're that far back, you're easily going to be able to stop this corner out, right? Your man's going to be dropping all the way back there, and that window is going to be completely taken away. The problem that gets created though is if you put your flats on 25, then obviously you give up this underneath just easy flat route right there to that receiver great house, right? But then if you come too far down, right, if I were to like zone stem my zone all the way down, right, so maybe something like this, then obviously you just give up the corner route. So essentially when you run cover 2, it's like you're kind of screwed, right? They have good pocket presence, they step in the pocket, they have that dot open. You're kind of screwed because they just have one more pass catcher, one more receiver on that side than you do DBs, right? And so really the best way to kind of counter that is by using what we call the double Mabel. So you're going to have a 25-yard flat, then you're going to have a 5-yard curl flat underneath. Again, from your zone drops, right? 25 and 5. Well, now you have 3 defenders on that side, and they have 3 receivers, and everyone's going to drop to the right spot. You're going to see how we're just going to easily be able to break that flat route up, and then obviously when they try to throw the ball over the top like I'm about to show you right here, we're going to be able to take that away too. So again, always just put that man in that curl flat so that he actually runs out there and guards this. But you're going to see how the flat's taken away, and then the corner out is just being sat on by that outside corner right there for an easy interception. So corner routes, I can see why people struggle with them, because they just want to sit in cover 2 or cover 3 defense without really making adjustments. But when you simply put this coverage shell out there, and if you want to, you can do it on both sides, you're easily going to be able to stop corner outs. You just have to really focus on guarding over the middle of the field with your user if they have something else running in that area. Alright, so corner outs are very popular, and being able to stop them is very important like I just showed you. But if you're not using the right defensive settings, everything can be screwed up. Let me show you the best ones to use right now. Alright, so when we talk about defense settings, we're going to come in here and we're going to make sure that we have auto flip defensive play turned on, okay? What this is going to do is going to make sure your slot corner comes out on the same side as slot receiver, which is going to greatly help your alignment of your entire defense, alright? You're going to come to cornerback matchups. Make sure you have this on balance. I'm going to show you what's going to happen in a second if you decide to leave it on or change it to, because balance is the default setting, but if you change it to by overall, by speed, by height, by route running, your whole defense ends up misaligned. Make sure your defense and motion response on disabled, especially if you're going to be running zone coverage. But then these don't really matter. I would say RPO pass key is kind of important. It kind of helps you out in the RPO game a little bit. Like I just showed you earlier, zone drops. If you're trying to stop corner outs, you can use 25 and 5, but you don't need to use zone drops on every single play. Sometimes you can just use this combo right here and then just play defense how you regularly would, right? But close pinch for safety alignment, that's going to help you get beat up the seam. Something else I'll break down here. But what you're going to see is this is what's going to happen for you if you don't use cornerback matchups on balance. Essentially, your safeties and your corners, all your DBs, really, your linebackers too, everyone's just going to try to match up with their receivers based on whatever you have it set to, so by speed, right? And why is this a problem? Because now your whole defense is misaligned and crisscross, right? So if, let's just say, this guy's matched up one of the tight end, right? So a lot of bad things happen, obviously, when your entire defense is misaligned, because if they just call a play like this, a stock play, they just have a shriek running wide open over the top for an easy touchdown. So the best way to kind of prevent that, because you're not going to be able to move your whole defense back to where they should. You're not going to be able to realign all these guys, in a very short amount of time. You're pretty much just going to have to leave the setting on balance or call a timeout to fix this. And obviously this is just allowing wide open touchdowns. You don't want this to happen. So it's very simple. Leave that setting on balance, and when the offense no huddles, your defense is going to come out regular just like this. All right, but also having your safety depth on close with your width on pinch. Why does this help you? Because again, you're going to be able to stop their seam passes. If we look at this shriek to Great House right here in the slot, when we go to take this snap, the airspace in between those two guys, look at all those defenders that broke on that pass, and we probably could have scored a touchdown right there if we really wanted to on a pick six, right? That's why it's so important, because if they just try to hike throw this, there's no room for them to throw this. The slot corner's here, and then they're basically forcing a pass. Look at the airspace in between 18 and 7, how small it is. And they're able to break on this pass, knock it away, and we're able to catch the interception, right? And so it really just makes it hard for them to throw right up the seam. But then also it's like, you're not going to get beat over the top, right? Because if they take this snap and try to lob this pass over the top, you're just seeing how Bray Hubbard is all the way back there to, strap it, lock it down, very easy. So he's not actually going to get beat up the seam or over the top, just because that's how good this setting is. Unless they have takeoff. If they have like platinum takeoff, you might want to think about backing him up just a little bit. But for the most part, that's not really the case. And, having safety depth close with width on pinch is positive, and there's no negatives to it. So those are the best defense settings that you need to be using. Alright, if you're enjoying these secret tips so far, I encourage you to go down below and hit that subscribe button. I break down defense tutorials just like this every single day in CFB 26, and you're not going to miss out on any of them. But if you want this entire video in written form so you can save it on your phone in your next game and never forget any of these concepts, go to the link in the pinned comment and join CFB University, where you can get your first month for only $1 of over 5 written breakdowns. Please, don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling on defense here in College Football 26. Let's jump right back into it. Alright, the next thing I want to show you is how you can go about stopping RPOs. They're one of the most common offensive tactics, and being able to slow them down will be your best friend. Let me show you how. Alright, so this is going to be their play right here. Alright, this is just a regular RPO from a double formation. We're in cover 2. Alright, so you can see why this is a problem and how you're probably getting beat by RPOs, right? You're going to see how they can just throw this pass out there. And that actually wasn't a terrible job. He honestly did a better job than I thought he would. But you still see how we're able to throw that pass and pick up good yards. You're able to see it once again right here. Like, he's just not getting there fast enough, right? And so even if they decide to hand the ball off, right, a lot of the time, actually, I could have just kept that ball with my quarterback. So it's like they're either going to have the handoff or they can keep it. Right here, I'm just going to keep it, and you can see I can pick up easy yards with Riley Leonard's speed boost if I wanted to. Probably slide down the open field. But RPOs are a problem. It's hard to stop the run, and it can be hard to stop the pass. Or it's not hard to stop the run, but it can be hard to stop the pass, right? So you're going to see what I'm going to do instead, though, is I'm just going to take this player who's in this vert hook, who's doing an alright job. Now I'm going to make him do a really good job by simply manning him up and pass committing, and then shading my coverage down to have hard flats. Alright, so now essentially he's just going to fly down and guard this RPO pass. And so you're going to see that right here. We're going to take the snap, and you see how he just comes down and he's right there. You see how last time they would pick up 5-6 yards. Now we're just sitting right on it, and it's going to be like that very consistently. Now, that's going to be great. But if you take away the pass, they still have the run, right? So again, pass commit your defense, shade your coverage down, man him up. Well, now they're going to go ahead and take the snap. They're not going to throw the pass, so now they're just going to hand the ball off and just try to speed boost all around the field with Jeremiah Love, right? So you have to be there to stop the run, too, with your user, though, right? So we're going to set the defense up the same way. We're going to man up the RPO. We're going to shade our coverage down, and we're going to pass commit, all right? Now we're going to be ready to stop this run by standing 4 yards over the guard, like I talk about all the time, and trying to loop through and shoot a gap, right? So you're just going to see I'm just going to run in right behind that guy, and it's a very easy play. Every run is going to be a little bit different. Sometimes they're going to be calling sweeps, inside runs, traps, right? There's a lot of different RPOs, but you're able to see how this is pretty easy. I just wait until the quarterback has the ball, then I make my read, pick my gap, and I just see what I need to do. And you can also see how the pass is taken away very easily. So bottom line with RPOs, all it really is identifying what RPO, who's going to probably be getting the ball so that you can man that guy up and pass commit. And then you have to be ready to stop the run with your user, though, because you have to think about it. You're pass committed on defense. So if you give up, like if you don't shoot the gap with your user, they're just going to be able to just run all over your defense. So make sure you're looping around, shooting the gap. It's pretty easy with RPOs. And then you also take away the pass. And that's how I would stop RPOs. All right, the most annoying offense to play against here in CFB 26 is probably bunch strong offset. Let me show you how to stop their best play, Y trail. All right, so we come into Y trail here from bunch strong offset. Someone asked me how to stop this in Discord, the other day, so I just figured I'd put it in this video, right? So we're gonna make sure we put all 3 of our zone drop depths on default, all right? And that's how we're gonna go slow this down, because we're gonna run match coverage. You have to have all 3 zone drop depths on default when you're running match. So that's exactly what we're gonna do right here. And you're gonna see how this is gonna be, this is a tough play to deal with. Actually, I'm going to, for this play, I'm gonna show you what makes it so good. We're just gonna run cover 3, right? And so really they could just call this stock, honestly. Boom, they can either throw their drag or they can throw their trail route across the field. Like, it's a pretty hard play to stop. It beats pretty much every defense. If they wanted to put their running back on a streak, they could do that too, to be able to beat a lot of your different defenses, right? And so you're gonna see kind of the same thing where they just can step up and have that open in the middle of the field, spin guys out, make guys miss. So that's a good play, and it's hard to stop. So what do I like to do? Like I said, cover 6. All right, we're gonna come into cover 6, and you want to make sure that you're using probably Lawson here. That's really the best guy. And a lot of the time, you just need to guard this drag, right? So a lot of people, they're just going to block their running back. They're going to call it something like this. But you're literally just going to use this drag across the field or the tight end trail. So you just have to read it. Here's the thing about match coverage. It's going to be determined on what route concept they call. When you lab this up, you're going to notice pretty consistently who this 3-rep cook is going to guard. He's going to follow this across the field. So now I know that I just have to take away this trail route. And honestly, you could probably get an interception right here just by baiting them. And you're able to see how the corner routes can get guarded very easily by the outside quarter. And so again, this is just not a hard play to stop. If they just call it like this, right? If they, mix up the variation of how they call it, it's different. But same thing right here. You go guard the drag, I just take the trail, and then we go get a sack, right? It's kind of easy. The post route's taken away too by the soft squat across the field, and so you're able to pretty easily guard this. Now, if you wanted to make it to where you don't have to really do anything, you could probably just put that man in a hard flat so that he won't match, right? And so they're just going to play drop cover 2 on that side. So boom, and now, I guess you still technically have to take it away. All right, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't want to put that hard flat because that post route was low-key open. Maybe you just want to leave the soft squat so that then the soft squat follows the trail, follows the post, and then you can just take the trail, right? You can see how he pretty much runs the post route for the receiver. That's the great thing about match, is they're basically psychic. They're just going to know what routes on the field, and they're going to take it away very easily. So you see how great of defense this is. One last time, you take the drag, then I take the trail right across the field. If you wanted to switch stick onto this to make the coverage a little bit tighter, you could, but then you would just have to switch stick back up. So it's kind of what you want to do. That's one of my favorite coverages to be able to stop this play. Although, you could probably just run cover 3 sky as well, right? You could probably just run cover 3 sky, and then you're just going to take away the trail route again, right? So again, boom, take it, you guard the drag, I take the trail, and then we're here. So there's a lot of good defenses to be able to stop this play. You can still switch stick out of it. It's just understanding the route concept they have called and how you can utilize different defenses to slow it down. But those are 2 of my favorite. Just calling cover 3 hard flat, using the trail, or calling match coverage, and once again, using the trail route. Alright, a question that I get all the time, and I see a lot of other creators get this. How do you set your defense up so fast? Your adjustments are at lightning speed. Let me show you how to use quick adjustments in the best way possible. Alright, so when I talk about quick adjustments, I'm talking about being able to set a defense like this, right? Cover 2, quickly just change it to a cover 3 defense or cover 3 cloud, and now you're pretty much good to go on defense. I like playing simple coverages. I don't really like to make a whole lot of adjustments before the snap, but sometimes you're going to have to do that, and you need to be able to make them fast, right? So really the best way to kind of illustrate this for you is if you have a defense like this, and this is probably what you're doing, and you want to, let's just say you want to turn this into a cover 3. How you're probably doing it is you're having to click onto this man, press A, put him in outside third. Click onto this man, press A, put him in inside third. Click onto this man, press A, and you see how I misclicked twice right there? That's going to slow you up, and then you're going to put this man in a hard flat. But also you're having to look at what button does what to put him in that zone. So you see how that defense just set up, and I really just made 3 adjustments. It just took me like 9 seconds. Versus if I just quick adjust, it's going to take me like 2 or 3 seconds, right? And so that's probably what you're doing, and it's slowing you up, and you're getting quick snapped a lot by the offense, and you don't really have your defense set up. So how do you quick adjust, right? What you want to do is practice understanding what buttons correlate to which position group. So the safeties or the DBs are going to be pressing Y twice, right, or triangle, and that's going to open the secondary menu, right? Then you're going to, if you press D-pad right twice, that's going to open the linebackers. So sometimes you have 3 linebackers, sometimes you have 1. In this case, you have 2, right? And so you can click on the button of X, and now I can put him in that same hard flat, right? And so I can press Y twice, then X, and then put this man in outside third. Press Y twice, press Y for the 3rd time, put this man in inside third. So that's like quick adjustments. And then the defensive line would be pressing D-pad left twice. So you see how some of these just kind of play off of each other, and then you're able to kind of make the proper adjustments based on, who you want to quick adjust. It's actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it. So again, we start with a cover 2. We want to adjust it to a cover 3 on one side. We just quickly make these adjustments, and now we have the defense set up, right? Pretty easy stuff, like less than 3 seconds. So really what I would say is just get into practice mode and practice pressing Y twice, then making your adjustments. Pressing D-pad left twice, making your adjustments. And then it's just, practice changing up a whole different bunch of coverages. Maybe you know that you like to put your outside corner in an outside quarter a lot of the time, so you just have to, practice doing that. Boom. You can practice custom zones, zone stemming, right? There's a whole bunch of things that you can get better at with quick adjustments because there's a whole lot of adjustments that you might have to make in a game. So get into practice mode, familiarize yourself with what buttons do what, and that's really how you're going to take your defense quick adjustment game from a beginner level where you're having to click onto guys to a pro level where you're able to do it all from one central player and you almost never get quick snapped. Alright, if you found any of those 5 secret tips on defense here in College Football 26 helpful, again, I encourage you to go down below and subscribe. I break down defense tutorials just like this every single day in College Football 26. You're not going to miss out. But if you want this entire video in written form, step by step, go to the link down below in the pinned comment, grab my written tactical breakdowns for your first month for only $1. Please, don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling on defense here in College Football 26. But check out this video if you want to transform your offense in College Football 26 to pair with your lockdown defense now. I'll see you over there.